Welcome to the Ashes into Beauty podcast with your host, Stephanie Marie Laswell, divorce concierge at The Divorce Life. Hello, listeners. Thank you for tuning in today. I am your host, Stephanie Marie Laswell, divorce connoisseur at The Divorce Life. And today we're going to be talking a little bit about what stages individuals experience as they're going through the divorce process, and a little bit of kind of like what you can expect or what the next steps might be as your divorce is final, and kind of what you can expect as you're going through that transition stage. So there are stages of divorce, and the first stage is acknowledging the reality that this divorce is actually happening. Typically, I see individuals, one is ready for the divorce to happen, has kind of been mulling it over, preparing themselves mentally and emotionally from anywhere a couple of months to years in advance. And so they kind of already know and have kind of already started the mourning process, while the other individual might be completely shocked or blindsided that this divorce is happening. They might also kind of dig their heels in and really, really fight to hang on to the marriage. And sometimes this can cause individuals to act in ways that we've never seen them act before, because they're grasping so hard to try to hold on and to make the marriage last. So don't be surprised if that happens, or if you see a loved one going through that situation and you see them act out of character in hopes of holding on and keeping the marriage together. But that first stage of acknowledging the reality of divorce can be hard for individuals to do, especially if they're not wanting the divorce or are completely shocked that this has been presented to them. Another stage that could be helpful for you is actually letting others help you. And this one was always tricky for me because I really didn't know. Well, let me go back. My pride kind of got in the way of letting others help me. I'm not one that naturally lets others help me very easily. And so certainly at this time in my life, I didn't know, or I didn't want them to see me as somebody that needed help, maybe. I didn't know how to ask for help when I did get to that point of wanting the help. And then if someone did ask how they could help, I didn't know the answer to that question. It's so overwhelming when you're going through divorce. And so if you can kind of put a list together of things that could be helpful, that way you're not caught off guard when people do ask how they can help you. Some ideas might be helping you with children, helping with chores around the house, giving you a break. Let's see, what else could there do? Running errands for you, preparing meals for the week, offering to take the kids for a weekend so you can get away. Anything that could lighten your load, it's okay to ask for help. This is a time in your life where everything is getting turned upside down, and it can be very overwhelming and stressful. And your loved ones, this is a really good way that they can support you. And it might be something that's really on their heart, and so you don't want to take that away from them. So just go ahead and swallow your pride and have that list ready. And then if you're somebody that you have a family or a friend going through a divorce, do your best to keep life as normal. Continue to invite them and include them in the activities that you would typically do with them, and not make everything about the divorce. Not every conversation that you have with them needs to be talking about the divorce. let them have those conversations with the professionals that they've hired to help them navigate this, and just continue to show up as a family and friend and offer support in those ways. That's another way that you can let others help you, is by hiring professionals that actually deal with this divorce process on a daily basis and can educate you on the process and help you get the right information that you need so you can make informed decisions. And also, there are a ton of local resources out there that can help you and support you throughout this process and as you're making this transition. The other thing, the other stage that is very important to go ahead and embrace and accept, is feeling all the feels. Don't stuff them down. Don't try to ignore them. Don't try to be the bigger person and pretend like you're not feeling all the things, and you're going to feel a range of emotions, from sadness to joy to relief, excited, depressed, overwhelmed. Like, it can change from minute to minute, the emotions that you will experience as you're going through your divorce. And embracing the mourning process that you are going to be facing, understanding it, and then also understanding how you mourn is going to be very beneficial on how you get through the emotional side of divorce. I highly recommend journaling. That is a very safe place to get out your real thoughts and feelings and be raw and vulnerable without causing any damage to any other parties. But it gets it out and puts it on paper. Also, with feeling all those feels, a really great practice to start, if you're not already doing it, is daily self-care. And that journaling can be a part of that process. I highly recommend moving your body every day. That's going to help you physically, mentally, emotionally. It's going to help move those emotions through your body and not keep them stored up. Do whatever feels right for you. That might be napping, making sure that you're eating properly and healthy, getting good rest. You want to put into practice all those healthy ways to handle the mourning process. The next big stage of divorce is handling all of the shifting relationships. And it's not just the one that is with your spouse. It's the relationship with your children, with your in-laws, with your parents, with family members, friends that you guys shared together. Divorce is such a ripple effect, and it affects the whole community. And so being proactive and thinking about maybe some new boundaries that need to be set up as you're going through this process. Not everybody needs to know the details of your divorce. You don't have to talk about it with everybody that I ask. I actually recommend that you keep your group quite small with who you share the details of your divorce with. Everybody has an opinion. They probably have a way that they think that you should be handling it, and it might not always be what's in your best interest. They mean well, but sometimes we can have family and friends that project what their experience was onto us, and it doesn't mean that that's how you should handle your divorce. So keep that group very small and really rely heavily on the professionals that you've hired to be on your divorce team to know all the details about your divorce. You're going to want to shift that relationship with your spouse to a business mindset. You're about to enter into a legal process with them, and they're no longer your person. So the sooner that you can kind of start shifting that in your mind and in your heart, the better logical decisions that you'll be able to make versus emotional decisions. And I'm going to be pretty frank with you. The court really doesn't care who did what. They're just trying to get this legal process wrapped up. And so finding emotional justice through the court system is not going to happen. You're going to need to work through that on your own with a counselor, with a coach, and not try to seek that through the court system. The next one is going to be looking at what does your self-identity look like now that you're no longer going to be Mr. or Mrs. or husband and wife. How have you changed? You've been married for some time, and that's probably caused you to evolve in good, bad, and maybe even some ugly ways. Did you pick up some bad habits? Did you gain some good habits? Who were you before you were married, and now who are you now? And what does that look like? What do you want that to look like? It's an opportunity for you to find new friends, new hobbies, develop some new skills, maybe even start a new career path that you weren't able to explore before. So it's a really great time to kind of re-identify yourself. And maybe you've had to let go of some beliefs, or maybe some values have been altered, or you would like to set some new ones that you couldn't agree with your spouse. Those are all positive things that can come from divorce. Not only that, but the last stage is searching for meaning. It takes two to make a marriage work and be strong, but it also takes two for it to fall apart. So taking responsibility for how you contributed to the ending of your marriage, and acknowledging that, whether you do that with a counselor or within yourself in your journal, is a good step to take. But also, I don't want you to take on what is not your responsibility. No matter what you did, no matter how the marriage is ending, no matter what the circumstance is or what the story is, it's not all on one person. And so I want to free you from that if that is who you are, or if you've struggled with taking on more responsibility than you should. It takes two. And it's a great way that you can learn from this process, how you showed up, how you didn't show up, how you'd like to show up if there is a next time. But overall, you can probably learn something from your marriage and grow from it and take it into other relationships. And that can also be a very positive thing that comes from the divorce. And also kind of as you're preparing for divorce or in the middle of it, ask yourself, what do you want your divorce legacy to look like? How do you want this divorce process to go? Do you want to be peaceful and amicable throughout the whole thing? If you've got kiddos, how do you want them to be able to look back and see how you handled your divorce? And then use that vision of yourself to guide you as you're making divorce decisions. And some of the ways that you can prepare yourself for divorce, if you're just thinking about it or you're just getting started, is to educate yourself on the process. You don't need to know all of the laws, but if you can do a little bit of research or talk to professionals about what the process is, that's going to set the expectation for you. And then get yourself organized. It is a legal process, so you're going to need all of the assets, all the debts. What kind of parenting plan do you want to ask for? If you can get organized before you go and talk to professionals, that's going to help the process go a little bit more quickly and probably save you some time. And then you need to make a plan. What's your strategic plan? It's not something that you just walk in at the end of the day and just announce, I want a divorce, and not really have a plan together, especially if you're divorcing a high conflict person. You definitely want to have a strategic plan in place. And then seek professional help. A lot of people go and just hire the first lawyer that's recommended to them. And there are other ways that you can get through the divorce process, especially if you're looking at trying to be amicable and work together to get through this divorce. So kind of that's part of that education piece, is looking at what all of your options are. And then talking to the right professionals. I love lawyers. They are our legal advocates in the divorce process. There are several other professionals that you need to seek counsel from as you're making divorce decisions. So make sure that you have a good, strong divorce team in place. And then, like I've kind of already mentioned, keeping your circle small about the details and setting healthy boundaries with others as you're going through and processing your divorce and making this transition. Please stay off social media. You do not want that to come back and bite you in the courtroom or anywhere else. Emotions run high, and we want to get some kind of revenge. We think it might help us feel better, but in the end, it's just going to do damage to you. So keep that circle tight and small with trusted people. Maybe have one or two people that you talk to outside of your professional circle, or just choose to keep it all in professionals' hands, and you don't have to share the details with anybody else. And then once your divorce has been finalized, a couple of things that might help with the transition is letting go and moving forward. It really is a lot of mind control and not letting your mind wander and replay events or replay, maybe if I would have done this differently. It really is time to take that vision of who you want to become and let that pull you forward instead of looking back. And then you've got to allow that mourning process to flow and figure out what is the best coping mechanism for you as you experience that mourning process. And let me tell you, it will hit you years down the road. You think that you'll be over it, you'll be doing well, and then something will happen and it will trigger you. And it's like a punch in the gut. You didn't see it coming. But if you have those coping mechanisms in place, then you'll be able to handle it. And you will start to bounce back from those triggers more quickly as time goes on. I can't say that it ever goes away, but learning how to handle it and accept it for what it is and see it as a mourning process and not that something's wrong with you will be very helpful. And then also you're going to want to seek professional help even after your divorce is final. This transition and recovery time after divorce typically takes about 3 years before you're feeling like you've got your new norm down and life is flowing and you've got a new schedule down and things are kind of starting to settle in. So just keep that in mind. Give yourself time to process and grow and heal from this process of divorce. Dream a new dream, y'all. It's an opportunity that you kind of get to not have a fresh start, but you kind of are starting a new chapter in life. And so what do you want that to look like? And probably the last thing I'm going to leave with you is that divorce doesn't define who you are. It doesn't cause you to be unworthy of love. You're not a bad person because you've gotten divorced. Don't let that self-shame or external shame or the things that people might say that might stab you and hurt you. Don't believe those lies about what it's like to be a divorcee. If you need any kind of help getting through your divorce, that's what I'm here for. I'm a divorce connoisseur. I specialize in divorce finance and real estate. I am kind of like a project manager for divorcees that need help getting organized and having a strategic plan to get through their divorce. You're losing your thinking partner, so that's where I step in and I help you think through all these things, and I kind of identify some red flags to be looking out for and make sure that you're talking to the right professionals so that as you're gathering information, you have everything that you need so you can make informed decisions before you get into mediation or before that divorce decree is finalized. And ultimately, I want you to be able to look back on your divorce and say, I made the best decisions for myself at the time, and I'm proud of how I handled my divorce. And as always, you guys can find me at The Divorce Life on pretty much all platforms. I do host Divorce University, which is a different topic on divorce, and those workshops are always free. The next one is going to be on April 22nd. I'm not quite sure what the topic's going to be yet, but you will be able to find that on my social media handles and thedivorcelife.com. Until next time, move bravely onward, guys.
For more information on services or divorce resources provided by The Divorce Life, you can follow me on Facebook or Instagram, or find us at www.thedivorcelife.com. Thank you for tuning in and listening, and a big thanks to my producer, Jazz, at the Possibilities Podcast Center.